One of you guys recently DM'd me one of the funniest, most random non-news stories I've seen in a while. And I just had to share it with you. And I can't remember who it was who sent this to me. So if you're watching this now, do give me a shout out. But the headline is Chinese foodies pose as mourners to try funeral home's noodles. Is that not the most Chinesiest thing you've ever heard? Posing as somebody who's mourning the death of somebody you don't know in order to try these famous noodles at the funeral home. So let me read the article to you. Foodies in China have been reportedly flocking to an unlikely destination, a funeral home, after a noodle dish served at its canteen went viral on social media. The dish is found at the Erlong Funeral Home in the southwestern province of Guizhou. The canteen caters to the funeral home's customers, but as word began to spread about its noodles, hordes of diners, some posing as mourners, began showing up to try the food. Could you imagine doing this? Would you pose as a mourner in order to try these noodles? Can you imagine noodles being that good that you would go to that length? I wonder if I would. I do love my noodles. If not, then is there a food that you would do this for? What food gets you so excited that you will be willing to go to this length? Let me know in the comments. Continuing with the article. Erlong has since announced it will allow some members of the public to eat at its premises, as long as they do not disturb genuine mourners. As long as they do not disturb the mourners. Can you imagine?
哇！呢啲麵真係好食到暈啊 ！So good, I want to faint。哦，對唔住，唔好意思 ，sorry。食斯文啲 ，eat more polite。
The funeral home offers various types of noodle dishes during breakfast and supper hours, which cost 10 yuan per bowl, which is approximately $1 something. So they're not even free. They're just a great deal and very tasty. The most popular type is reportedly the noodles topped with minced pork and peanuts. Oh, that sounds good. In fact, there's a picture of them under the headline. And if that's the noodles they're talking about, oh, they look mighty fine. And I'm not really familiar with, I don't think I've had Guizhou noodles. Have you? I understand that they do like spicy sour noodles. So I'm wondering if these are the spicy sour ones. I basically don't know much about mainland Chinese cuisine because I'm a Hong Konger. So I know all the Cantonese noodles. Cantonese is the culture of Hong Kong and Guangdong province in the south of China. So yeah, I know and love all the Hong Kong noodles, but I'm trying to learn my mainland Chinese noodles, but it's difficult though, because when I go to Chinatown, I often just go to my favorites, my lifelong favorite Hong Kong style Cantonese diners. And it's just, you know, when you get a craving for Chinese, you tend to crave your own variety of Chinese that you were brought up eating, right? So for me, all this mainland Chinese stuff is totally unfamiliar to me. And I'm only just starting to experiment with it. There's a new place in London open actually, in London Chinatown, called Kung Fu Noodle. And I see that they specialize in, I don't know if it's a particular region, but I know that they're like mainland style noodles and they always have long queues outside. So I might try it one of these days. Has anybody out there tried it? Have you tried Kung Fu Noodle? Is it any good? Like, is it authentic? Because that's the thing, like with Chinese food, a lot of what you get in London, I feel isn't like, it's not that it's not authentic. I mean, they follow the authentic recipes, but it's just not the same as having it in Hong Kong. It's the quality is not the same. And I'm wondering if it's the same with the mainland Chinese food. Any mainlanders here in London, can you confirm if do we have like proper mainland Chinese food? Or is it like a second-rate version of what you're familiar with back home? But yeah, in China, the noodles are regional. So there's different types of noodle that are popular in different provinces. And I think that's really nice because it's nice to try local flavors when you travel, right? And it's nice to know that what you're having is something that is a specialty of that region. It's like when you go to Italy. Italy is a country that's full of regional specialties. So when you travel around different parts of Italy, you can't get the same food that you would in other parts. So for example, I've been to Rome and Sicily where the seafood is really good. It's so fresh and amazingly delicious, and they prepare it in a very simple kind of way, so it's not too saucy, so you can really taste the freshness of the seafood. But then you go to other parts of Italy like Florence and there's hardly any seafood. I went all over looking for a seafood restaurant. There's like hardly any. I had to look one up on TripAdvisor because I was just craving it, right? And no, you don't get seafood in Florence particularly because it's not regional, it's not local to the region. There's a lot of beef, a lot of steaks, big, massive steaks that they bring to your table and show you before you order. And yeah, and everything is very tomatoey and a lot of pizza. That's one thing that Italy and China have in common, is the regionality of their cuisine. One mainland Chinese noodle I've discovered recently is the Sichuan broad noodles. Oh, those are good, aren't they? They're really thick. You know, you got like the Cantonese hor fun, which is the flat rice noodles. Sichuan broad noodles are even thicker, wider, and they're so chewy. I love the texture, you know, like a good chewy noodle. And Sichuan cuisine is very spicy, so it takes getting used to. They do this numbing spice that makes your whole mouth numb. First time I had it, it was shocking how spicy it was, but then you get used to it. But I have to say, my favorite noodles are the ones I'm most familiar with, which is all the different types of Cantonese noodles. Mean, which is the standard thin yellow crunchy noodles you get in a bowl of soup, and hor fun, which, as I just mentioned, is the flat rice noodle. Lai fun, which you can't get in London. I miss lai fun so much. I love lai fun. When I go to Hong Kong or Vancouver, I eat so much lai fun because you can't get it here. Lai fun, I think, is rice noodle. It's white, but it's like the shape of spaghetti, and it's very slippery on your chopsticks. So I wouldn't recommend them for novices. And what else is there? Yi min, or yi fu noodles, they often call them on the menu. Oh, those are so good too. It's a yellow noodle that's kind of like shaped a bit like linguine, and it's often served with shredded crab meat and sliced Chinese mushroom. Oh, it's so good. It's one of those things that you always order for a birthday celebration because they are supposed to, I think they are supposed to represent long life. So if you go to a birthday banquet dinner, you're gonna have a plate of yi min or yi fu noodles. And then what else do I like? Cheng fan. Oh, that's probably my favorite, cheng fan. Does cheng fan count as a noodle? It's a pasta, isn't it? It's well, basically it's like the Chinese version, the Cantonese version of a lasagna, where we take our pasta, our rice noodle, and it's like in a sheet and wrapped around various different fillings. You can have pork, like barbecue pork inside, or prawns, or beef, kind of like, it's like a kind of like a meatloaf made of beef and ginger. And my favorite, which not everybody does, but if you ever get a chance to have it, scallops. Oh, and then there's also the ones that are wrapped around like a Chinese donut. It's like a tubular donut, but it's not a sweet donut. There's no sugar in it. It's a savory donut. And so it's like this deep fried, chewy bread that's hollow in the middle that they wrap the rice noodle around. Oh, that is so good too. It's so sinful. But yeah, I love all my Cantonese noodles. And I also like some of the Japanese ones. I like nabeaki udon. That's a dish that's cooked and served in a pot. It's in a lovely cloudy broth with some chicken thigh and tempura prawn and slice of that crab cake thing, that really artificial crab cake that the Japanese so love, but it's so delicious. And what else has it got in it? One shiitake mushroom and a boiled egg and some seaweed. That's nabayaki udon. If you ever get a chance to try it, you can only ever get it in really authentic Japanese restaurants, not those ramen joints, because I do enjoy ramen too, but to me, ramen is a fast food, and this is gonna piss some people off, but yeah, I put it in the same category as instant noodles, but posh instant noodles. Don't get me wrong, I love it, and a good premium quality ramen is lovely, but it's not the same as nabayaki udon. It doesn't take so much effort to cook it compared to nabayaki udon. So it's like, it's a convenience food, a modern convenience food in my eyes. And I know I'm gonna piss some of you off saying that, but I'm an old school Gen Xer. We were brought up on food that takes more effort to prepare. And those are the foods that are dying out. And I like Korean japchae as well. That's lovely. Japchae is a clear vermicelli, but it's slightly thicker than the standard vermicelli. And I think it's made from potato or sweet potato or something. I'm not sure. Let me know if you know. And obviously there's Vietnamese pho. Everybody loves pho. And for those of you who don't know, I'm saying pho, P-H-O. That's what it looks like. But the correct pronunciation isn't pho, it's pho. Oh, and another Vietnamese noodle I love, which again, it's not really a noodle, a bit like chang fan or lasagna. It's noodle wrapped around a filling. Banh cuon. Oh, banh cuon is like one of my favorite foods in the world. It's like thin rice noodle, super thin, not like the Cantonese chang fan, which is thick. It's so thin that sometimes it's clear. Like the thinner the better. Whereas for me, I think when it comes to chang fan, the thicker the better, right? But banh cuon it's wrapped around minced pork. Oh, it's so good. If you ever get a chance to try that, you must try it too. But again, it's one of those things that you can't get in the average Vietnamese street food restaurant that serves pho. It's another one of those things that is time consuming to prepare. So most restaurants don't do it. And then obviously there's pad thai, which I've had some nice pad thais in my life, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite because I find it a little sweet. And I'm not really big on sweet mains, if you know what I mean. Like sweet and sour pork. I don't really like sweet and sour. So it's not just a Thai thing. Just, to me, sweet is dessert, not main. I don't mind a hint of sweetness. Like xiao gai, Cantonese soya chicken. But having said that, if you put a plate of pad thai in front of me now, I would murder it. And I would especially murder it now because I'm on a reduced carb diet right now. Oh my God. I'm good at digressing, but that's probably the longest digression ever in any of the videos I've ever made. So I'm sorry about that. You've probably forgotten what this video is about now. I've forgotten. What is it about? Chinese foodies pose as mourners to try funeral homes noodles. Sorry about that. Okay, so where am I? One Erlong worker told Yupai News, I don't know if I pronounced that right, that they only serve customers who come to the funeral home to handle matters. But other people have been sneaking in to get a bowl of noodles, the worker said, adding that sometimes queues at Erlong are so long that diners sometimes have to wait a couple of hours to get their food. That is so Chinese again. Hong Kongers love queuing for food. I don't know what it is. Have you been to Hong Kong and seen all the little restaurants with massive queues outside. It's crazy, isn't it? There are so many restaurants to choose from, but people will queue down the block for the really hyped ones. But maybe it's just the fact that they don't take reservations, because a lot of Chinese restaurants don't. Like, why would they hold a table for you that some other customer could take when they're so popular? Like, who are you? With the exception of the higher end restaurants, the cheaper ones, which are often the best restaurants in Hong Kong.
No reservation, cash only.
There have been people pretending to be relatives of the deceased. It's hard to tell them apart when it gets crowded, and it's hard to manage, he said. Can you imagine pretending to be a relative of the deceased in order to get your noodles? Could you do that? So sad. Miss him so much. And then the relative goes, him? Oh, sorry, her. Cantonese,
No him, her.
everybody,
佢
man or woman.
佢 gender neutral.
So when I'm talking English, always mix up.
Him and her.
But yes, miss her so much. Poor husband. 好錫佢老婆. Love his wife so much. And then they say, yes,
He very good man.
just standing over there. You come with me, talk to him.
So sorry. I have appointment already late. Just finish noodle first and then I have to go. 唔好嘥啊嘛. Shame to waste.
To meet the demand, the funeral home has decided to offer 50 bowls of noodles to members of the public every day for free, as long as they do not affect people's mourning, according to Erlong's chef in an interview with local media. While the noodle dish was already popular among locals, the craze appeared to have ramped up earlier this month when a social media user posted about the dish while visiting a friend in Guizhou, which is known for its spicy and sour dishes. My friend said the food at this funeral home is so good, they wrote earlier this month on Xiaohongshu, also known as Red Note. The queue for food is longer than the queue to lay flowers for the deceased. I didn't get to eat the noodles because my friend's mum didn't know anyone who was holding a funeral service. Too chicken to pretend to be a mourner, huh? Since then, many Chinese social media users have also shared their experiences eating the noodles. On Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, one user shared a photo of the dining hall's tickets with what appeared to be a crowd queuing up for food. I heard the noodles here were very good, they wrote. I thought about how short life was and got another bowl. That's so Chinese, isn't it? So philosophical, so stoic. Any desire you have, you can rationalize it that way with some Chinese philosophy.
I thinking how short life is. Seems better go casino.
When you're trying to quit gambling. So yeah, isn't that such a cute story and so relatable? So how much do you love your noodles? Would you pretend to be a mourner at a funeral home in order to try the best noodles in the country? Let me know in the comments. And what are your favorite noodles? Did I leave one out? As I said, I haven't tried all the mainland Chinese noodles yet. And if not for noodles, what food would you go to these lengths to get for free? As ever, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like. And if you're not already doing so, please subscribe to my channel. And if you enjoyed this video, do give this one a watch too. Thank you so much. Have a great day.